Hey Vaniacs, today I'm going to be doing a book review on the 10th and final installment in the Michael Vey series, and this is Michael Vey, The Colony. Right now, I'm not really depressed, but I'm in this state of shock. It's like my heart is empty. This usually happens, whenever I finish a book series. I can't believe that the Michael Vey universe has come to an end. I have been reading these books for almost all my life, and I'm not willing to accept that it's done. Paul Evans returned to this franchise in 2020 with making 3 more books, and he said that there's not going to be any more. Even reading the epilogue, I can see why. So, now let's talk about the actual novel itself. This was one of the worst books, in my opinion. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 4-star. I feel like the concept and the idea was really cool, but the way it was displayed was done very, very poorly. Before I dive into my complaints, let's give a summary or a synopsis on what it's about. So, at the beginning of the story, Michael Vey is informing us on how he is heartbroken. He has endured a lot of traumatic experience in his entire life. He is mourning the death of Tessa, his dear Tessa. In book 3, Battle of the Ampere, he had a very good relationship with her because she was part of the America tribe. She basically saved Michael from the Elgin. And he's very uncertain of what's going to happen next because this is their last mission. This is the end game, the final showdown. And they go back, or should I say, they fly back on plane to Texas because that is where Grace is, and they have to learn some more information. Grace informs them that Abigail is being held hostage in Peru by these group of electric children known as the Colony. So Michael and his friends go back to Peru once again to try to save her. Right off the bat, this was very repetitive. I thought it was dumb how Paul Evans made them go back to the US and then 20 pages later say, you know what, let's go back. I like Peru and all, but there's been like too much books set in the Amazon rainforest. Like, it gets old pretty fast. There was a lot of eating scenes too in this book. At the airport, they had ribs, and then they had Thai food, then they got Italian. I think if I was Mr. Paul Evans' editor, I would say to cut down these scenes and revise this. It felt like a rush. Usually the Michael Vey books are, more fast-paced, but this was like he was on a deadline. And they show the backstory of the villain. His name is Tsipa, as you guys can see on the cover. He has red eyes, and he is very sinister and scary. He is known as the devil. Michael has had these dreams of him, especially of him dying. The dream is of him being in the rainforest and this tribe of people with these red, dark cloaks surrounding him, wanting to, put an end to him. And these visions are a foreshadowing of what's later to come. Now, Tsipa, originally named Piranha, was this street urchin in Porto Malander. He is in a lot of pain. When he was little, he got hit by a car and his leg broke. One day, he is on the street when he meets these groups of other Peruvian boys, and they bring him in to this facility and introduce him to Dr. Cook Sam. Dr. Cook Sam is the leader of this organization he has funded, where he wants to teach these electric kids who have special powers and wants to teach them, the ways of cuisine and literature. Once Dr. Cook Sam dies, Tsipa becomes in charge, and he is the new leader of this organization. He's kind of like the new Dr. Hatch in a way. Tsipa, for me, was not really a good villain. He had a good backstory, but he just talked too much. His ideologies were insane, and he was very arrogant. Dr. Hatch was cool, even Amos, but him, he's pretty lame. He's kind of like a mosquito, just yappity, 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 yap. Anyway, they go to Peru, and they find the colony. The colony live in this big farm where there's like tons of goats and cows and trees and housing. And what was surprising was that when they got there, the electric children welcomed them sincerely. I thought there would be a whole epic battle, but no. Right when they got there, he offers them food and drinks and massages, and he seems like a very good, generous man. But Micheal puts the clues together and comes to the realization that in the barn, he is keeping his friends captive. He finds Abigail and saves her when all of a sudden he is knocked out. When he wakes up, Micheal is being chained on the ground in this Inca stone heads. He's going to be sacrificed by the gods. So all of the bad guys surround him and are going to cut out his heart for him to drink. They're making an ultimate sacrifice out of him. And this scene kind of reminded me of the final stages of Jesus' crucifixion. And since Paul Evans is a biblical Christian, I can see some connections he made to this, especially in here too. There was a scene where when Piranha was young, Dr. Sam had a conversation with him, and he told him to read the Bible. So, though I am a fan of the Bible, what I don't promote is when he blends Christianity into literature, because it makes you think only in one perspective. So, Michael Bay is in this dire situation. He is going to die, and this is going to be his last time on Earth, because after he's going to heaven, when all of a sudden he freezes, and Casey, out of nowhere, saves them. Now, Casey, at the start of this, was in the hospital because she had cancer, but she miraculously was able to come down to Peru at this exact moment and rescue Michael Bay. And they embrace, and they all cheer, and they're like, "We did it, yay!" And he dies. Yep, he dies. He is finally dead. And I was like, woohoo, that's good. The last chapter we get is when Kylie and Brian say, we're sorry. They joined the drug cartelists, but then they come back to Michael and say, this was our fault and we're really sorry. That transition and their change in character was very unrealistic. Like, it didn't really suit their characteristics. Another disappointing thing was that the colony didn't really have cool powers. Some could make people deaf. Some could, scream and shout at loud frequencies. And some even had red powers, but those aren't really unprecedented powers. I thought it would be, like fire or water or purple electricity. It's kind of low. And you may guys be asking, how can there be a utter, youth of electric children? And basically, how this works was Dr. Hatch created his MEI, right? But he all of a sudden shut it down because the government was after him. Well, he actually began experimenting down in the south, in the jungle, because there he knew that no government would find him. And from that machine, there sprouted more children. And that's how they came to be. Finally is the epilogue, where we get closure on the whole thing. The epilogue was better than the final spark. I do have to say that. We get more closure on everyone's lives. Basically, Micheal says that he doesn't live in Idaho anymore. He moved somewhere else. And all of the electric children actually live in the colony as one. Like, they all reside in that area. A lot of people got married. Jack and Abigail are married. Micheal and the dentist have a love life. Kaser is all of a sudden cancer-free, which is good news. Ian lives in Arcata, and he is a filmmaker making documentaries. He has a TV show called Gallon Hunter. Grace is preventing the spread of AI from hitting the world, because AI nowadays is insane. Austin and McKenna have a boy and a girl. And Micheal and Tyler are true love, and they are actually parents now. They have a baby girl, and her name is Lux, which means light. They haven't really observed her having any electric powers yet, but Micheal does say that she probably will